Welcome back to our YouTube channel Endless Learning. Here I am back with one more video lecture regarding the characteristic of an effective evaluation tool. But before proceeding, make sure that you have subscribed to our channel. If not, quickly click on the subscribe button one who is new to our channel. Let's start today's video lecture. As for now, we have discussed about the reliability and the validity in the previous video lectures. That are two most important characteristics of an evaluation tool. Now we will discuss about the norms. Let us start with the term norm. Norms are the listed out some rules for expected behavior. These suggest what is normally considered a tolerable behavior in a group or in a society. Norms are expected standards of behavior of any group. A norm may be something considered to be normal. Some norms are unwritten rules or the guidelines of the group. Let us take few examples to understand the term norm. People living in the hilly regions of the Kashmir are likely to have the different norms than the people living in the plains of the Kashmir. The group defines its own norms or its own rules and regulations. Let me tell you the second example of the eye contact. While speaking to the other person, looking in the eyes may be considered as a normal behavior in one religion, while as it may be considered as a rude behavior in another religion. The norm of a particular group is defined by the group itself. People belonging to many groups as culture, work, are familiar with many different social norms. A norm is a rule that is understood by the people within the group. The word norm is also used to standardize tests and create a scoring system or a baseline for an average score of a group. In the education and the psychology, norms are defined by different psychologists or educationists. In the words of an American psychologist, Thorndike and Hagen, they defined norms as the average performance of a particular test made by the standardization sample. In the words of the Freeman, who defines a norm in a measurement as a average or a standard score on a particular test made by a specified population. Norms are representation of an average performance based on the results of a testing a specified group of students. It's a device of transforming raw score into the standard scores in a group. Educational measurements, as you know, is not same as in the case of the physical measurements. In educational measurements, we measure the mental measures. So, educational measurement is relative, not permanent. In case of this, we have to go for the evaluation of an individual in relation to the other in a group or we can say in a class. Suppose Ashu is a BA student who has scored 70 in the education and 60 in the English. If a layman analyzes these results of Ashu, he will say that Ashu is better in education than in English. But Ashu scored the highest marks in English and the lowest marks in the education in his group. So, the interpretation of the layman was wrong because the two scores were the raw scores. In order to get a valid and a reliable results, we should go for the norms through which we can get the perfect place of an individual in a group. For this purpose of the interpretation, the raw scores are converted into the derived scores. Norms tell us where a student stands in relation to the reference group. Norms are representation of an average performance based upon the results of the testing a specified group of students. It's a statistical procedure to minimize the interpretive error of the test scores. The norms of any educational test represent the average test performance of a standardized group. In this, an individual score is compared with the standardized sample as a reference group. The importance of the norms in the field of measurement and evaluation are as norms are the basis of the interpreting raw scores into the derived scores. Norms place an individual in an exact place within a group. Norms are helpful for selection and the classification of students. Norms are helpful in provision of the guidance and counseling to the students. Norms speak about the attainment of the instructional objectives by the students. Norms help in minimizing the interpretive error of the measuring instrument. In the field of education and mental measurement, we use four basic types of the norms. Let us discuss them one by one. First, the age norm. The concept of the age norm was developed by a French psychologist Alfred Binet in 1908. It basically deals with the mental age. This age norm is also known as the mental age norms or age equivalent norms. The age norm is defined as an average performance of a representative sample of a certain age group on a measure of an intelligence or any ability. Let me tell here an example to clear the concept of the age norm. Suppose the average score of a student whose age is 18 years is 80 on an achievement test. So, the age norm for the score 80 will be the 18 years. Now, Hiba is a student whose age is 16 years and she has scored 80 in the achievement test. Though the chronological age of Hiba is 16 years old, but she is having the mental age as of the 18-year-old because she has scored the age norm score which was for the 18-year-old student. So, when that age norm is fixed, standardized test is given to a representative sample of the students of a particular age level and the average score is calculated and this score is considered as the age norm of the group. The students who achieve that score are considered to be within that age norm. Secondly, we are having the grade norms. Grade norms are also like the age norm. However, here the measurement is based upon the class or the grade level, not on the age. Grade norms have been widely used with the standardized achievement tests, especially at the elementary schools. The grade equivalent that corresponds to a particular RA score is identified as a grade level at which the typical students obtain that RA score. A grade norm corresponds to a RA score is the grade level of those students whose average score is the RA score in a question. Let's have an example here. Suppose we conducted a test of BA first semester students. After getting the results, we get 60 to be the average of the test. So, 60 will be the grade norm of the students of BA first year student. The grade norms are based on the average performance of a student at various grade levels. Grade norms are important for reporting growth in the basic skills during the elementary school periods. They are least useful for comparing the students' performance on the different tests. Next, we are having the percentile norm. Percentile norms are about the position of an individual in relation to the norming group. The percentile norm is a point on a scale of a measurement determined by the percentage of an individual in a given population that lies below this point. It describes students' performance in terms of the percentage of other students in some clearly defined group that earn a lowest score. This might be a grade or an age, or we can say any other group that provides a meaningful comparison. Suppose if the percentile norm of the score 60 is 65, we say that 65% of students of a normative group lie below the point who have scored 60 marks. Don't confuse percentiles with the percentage score. The percentage score are the raw scores, while as the percentiles are the transformed scores. It provides a basis for interpreting an individual's scores on a test in terms of his or her own standing in a particular standardization sample. It should be based on a sample which has been made homogeneous with respect to like age, gender, or we can say socio-economic status. This percentile norm is applicable to all types of tests like intelligence test, aptitude test, or attitude test, or we can say the achievement tests. Now, the most important norm, that is the standard score norm, the most important method used to indicate the individual's relative position in a group by showing how far his achievement score is below or above the average in his group. This is the approach of a standard score, and the standard score expresses performance of an individual in terms of the standard deviation units from mean. There are numerous types of the standard scores used in testing, as we have already discussed them, like the z-scores, t-scores, or Hall score. The z-score represents the test performance directly as the number of the standard deviation units as a raw score is above or below the mean. The z-scores are the units of the normal probability curve, as we have discussed in the previous video lectures, range from minus 3 SD to plus 3 SD, with having the mean value 0 and the standard deviation value 1. The formula for computing the z-score is z-score will be equal to x minus m divided by standard deviation. This x represents the raw score and this m represents the mean, or we can say arithmetic mean of the raw score. Standard deviation represents the standard deviation of the raw scores. A z-score will be always negative when we are having the raw score smaller than the mean. Next, we are having the t-scores. T-scores are also the standard scores, but the mean value is 50 and the standard deviation is 10. T-score can be obtained by multiplying the z-score and adding the product to the 50. This is the formula for the t-score. T-score will be equal to 50 plus 10 times z-score, as z-score is equal to this, so I have written this also. T-scores are preferred to the z-scores for reporting the test results, as the t-scores produce only the positive integers. We have already discussed about these standard scores in the previous video lectures. If you have not watched those video lectures, the link of those video lectures will be given in the description box of this video lecture. This is all about the third characteristic of the effective evaluation tool. I hope you have understood today's video lecture. Don't forget to like this video. Share this video with others. If you are new to our channel, click on the subscribe button and press the bell icon to get the new notifications of the upcoming videos. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for supporting. God bless you.